master. Check out that thing. Oh look, there's my editing suite over there. This is where you belong, right here. So I'm on the verge of recontemplating the poly because the joins back here are so important on the perimeter. I know this is overhanging at the moment, but as with all my videos, I'm your human guinea pig and I do things that will push back the frontier of hair pieces. I don't know if I've broken any actual new ground, but I'd like to think that at least the bleaching of the front of the poly units is an essential thing that doesn't actually happen. And getting to that point, poly units do not have V-loops, they have U-loops. So the entire poly piece is filled with lines. Furthermore, poly has plastic all around the outside of it, which lace doesn't have. Lace blends better there. Lace has a better front hairline, but I'm not one for Swiss lace because I want the density to be medium, not medium light, which is a huge discrepancy. It's a huge difference between medium and medium light. You would probably want to call medium light and medium heavy. That's how different they are from each other. The long hair that I want is going to work out, I think, if I just keep this back, because I just watched the last video that I made and I'm uploading it now. Once that extra bit of balding there is covered with this and this grows back longer, and I can make the sides a bit longer as well so that this doesn't look all short with a long front, which is never my intention, obviously. I mean, think about it. Obviously, I know that, right? It doesn't work. But I'm just waiting for this to grow. But then I've got the grays here on the side, which may be solved with hair dye. So that could be the easiest of the multiple problems to solve, rather than going for a full cap, or the full topper, whatever you want to call it, right? Or whatever it's actually called. Okay, so this bit back here, this is the big bald spot that I was paranoid about. I'm not sure that when that hair grows back longer, that will be a major problem. And every time I lean forward, I'm cutting off footage for you to see this area here. Okay, so I'm trying to stay on tippy toes and get my head angled at the correct direction for you, but I'm often down here, which I've noticed. I'm sorry about that. It's hard to aim the top of your head at a camera that's this high above you. I was standing on tippy toes, but it still seems that my gigantic head, when bent forward, takes off about 12 feet from my total height. So that's why I'm dropping below the camera at that point. I want my hair long, probably for the rest of my life, if I can, or I can handle it. Because, you know, obviously I will be the Einstein of our generation when I get to that age, and I want my big grey wiry hair to be sticking out in all directions when I decide to stop dyeing it. And what I will turn to when I actually get my first Nobel Prize or something will be grey. I will be trying to find the grey version of this so I can get more grey. White, in fact, the white wizard returned after a big battle with the Balrog in the centre of Middle Earth. That's what I'll be aiming for. So that's why I'm thinking that poly might not be the answer, especially because of the perimeter, but also especially because of the lines that are going all through it. The problems with lace are that dirty line, which doesn't seem to be apparent, even though I've got it very covered in. If you watched, I mean, I need you to watch the video sequentially to understand where I'm up to, because this is like video 200 and something now. Okay, so go back to video 1 from 2011 and watch them all the way through, okay? Now, this is not a huge dirty line yet, which is one of the major problems that I find with with lace. I say poly and lace incorrectly sometimes, I'm sure of that. Sorry. Anyway, so hairs will tend to stick to that exposed piece of glue. The daily cleanup of that is a pain in the ass with lace, but the joins around here with poly could be too unnatural to deal with. Especially since I know that back here, even with that bit of coverage there, am I aiming my head correctly? Even with that coverage there, when I shave that out and stick that down, with all the future hair pieces because they're going to be sized up. I'll be getting 2 pieces per stock piece from now on. Two stencils will fit on 1 stock hairpiece from now on if I scale up to this size. Now with poly, I thought, well, I can fit 3, even with this size, into poly, but I can only fit them like that. I haven't got 3 hands. You'll have to use your imagination to remember that that's going to stay there as the front cut, and those 2 will be diagonally cut, as you've seen in probably video number 200 or something like that. If you haven't seen it, you won't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and you'll probably comment anyway. Don't. I hate idiots, all right? Or people who speak with authority when they have no idea what is going on around them. So, when this rest of the hair grows out, I can dye the greys away with this. Finally get rid of this oranginess if I dye the hair brown off it enough. Unless I'm in hospital because I've had some massive car accident. But then there won't be anyone who knows how to put the hair on for me either, so I'll probably be bald and grey in hospital. So I'm fucked either way in that situation. So while I've got full control over my head, because I'm totally free and not in jail or in hospital, and I've got access to all the hair and glue and everything, I think it might be better to get medium density lace and just keep cleaning that front all the time. Because I intend to have longer hair for as long as I can. I mean, there's a lot you can do with long hair. You don't have to have, as an actor, I mean, you can do a lot of different styles. There's no real acting role unless you're Charles Xavier or something that calls for a shaved head, which would screw me over because I'd have to wait 3 months with a hat, so nobody ever found out that I was actually bald. But then, I mean, this shit will probably come out and surface with all my fucking comments about women and religion and shit when I get famous, if I get famous anyway. So everyone will know I'm bald, and I'll just have to say, I choose to be bald, like some fucking asshole actor, right? That's what's gonna have to happen. So I won't deny it, I'll just say I wear a hairpiece, fuck off. Anyway, lace seems to be more of a long-term solution than poly, mostly because of this perimeter problem that poly will cause. And you can't really tell where the perimeter is with lace. So lace could be the answer for that main reason. And poly has lines all the way through it. So, but the problem is, okay, so here are the problems with lace. Here are the problems. Unbleached knots, which can be solved if they're bleached properly. They must be bleached properly, okay? And 2, there's usually a dirty line that develops here and here. But although that line has got both poly and lace back here, doesn't happen so much here with poly, but which is more important than this line here, but still, yeah, lace has more of a cleanup issue. Yeah, so basically, it's a bit more difficult to put the lace on because you can't just glue the lace directly and just push it down exact, so the front hairline is flawless, but that's still part of it related to the same issue, which is a dirty front line. But aside from that, it blends nicely with this hair, and you don't sweat nearly as much as with poly. So poly's disadvantages are growing as I make the hairpiece bigger. Having said that, I'm not sure what I'll choose at the end of the day. I've just ordered 3 new poly hairpieces. So I'll be wearing poly for some time to come, but just let it be known, in history, when I made this video, I was highly contemplating medium density French lace forever instead of poly because of the lack of sweat and the better perimeter. So long as I can always get my hands on some perfectly bleached knots with the poly, with the lace, I might end up going with that. Doesn't make you sweat nearly as much. And I've just been on this treadmill for a while, so I'm feeling, I'm not sweating much. And it's because I think I'm not having this big piece of plastic stuck to my forehead.